It's a very hard thing to be in a relationship, to love a woman, to have built something with the woman. You might have built a little mini fortress. You might homes. You might have built something, and then it's time for you. It's time for you to write another chapter in your life, right? You see a higher version of yourself, but it's a hard decision to make, man. It's a hard decision to make, man, when you have to make a choice between your higher self or staying loyal to a situation.
Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? You understand what I'm saying? So it just depends on what level you on based on, whether you're human or whether you're immortal.
At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. Brothers, she is either on the same page as you or she is ruining your chapter, right? Now, one thing I can say about myself, brothers, is when it comes to me being in a relationship, one thing I can say about myself, man, is that I'm loyal to a fault. Meaning, like, once I'm in a situation, like, it takes a whole lot for me to come out of that situation. That's why it's so hard for me to cross that line and be in an official relationship. If I go back to my teenage years, brothers, there aren't a lot of women. I can count on one hand on how many women can say, you know what, like, Soul was my man, right? There are some women that can say, you know what, yeah, man, Soul, we dated for a couple of weeks. We went out, we went to a concert. We caught a little road trip or something, man. But to say that Soul was my man, but I'm telling you, there are not many women that can even say that, right? Because I'm so selective. I'm so selective about crossing that line, right? And I understand that relationships take work. Any person that gets in a relationship, or anybody that thinks that a relationship is supposed to be, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365, happy go lucky, you're living in dream world, right? I understand relationships take work. I understand that sometimes, people are going to get moody. People are going to have certain, things happen, and you got to work it out and get through it, right? But I'm going to tell you, brothers, there is one thing that's a complete non-negotiable for me. There's one area of a relationship, brothers, where I have absolutely zero tolerance. And that's when I feel like a woman is keeping me from becoming myself, becoming my higher version, right? She's keeping me from elevating. She's keeping me from stepping into my prayer, right? And I'll be honest, of all the relationships I've been in, and I'm trying to think, I'm almost sure that all of the relationships that I've had to terminate have been because of that reason. I haven't had any relationships, man, where someone was cheating and I was like, oh man, I got to dip your cheating, or someone was, lying, or someone was doing this. It's always been because, that person was keeping me from elevating in life, right? I can go back to when I was 24 years old, give or take a year, right? And I can remember when I first started, tapping into other sources of knowledge. I can remember when I was, heavy active in the church. I was a deacon in the church. I was on the board. I was teaching Sunday school class. And a lot of events happened, right? And I've talked about it before. A lot of events happened. And it caused me to kind of just step back and look at the world different, look at myself different, right? And that's when I started hearing about, the Bob Proctors. I started hearing about the Napoleon Hills and all this esoteric knowledge and stuff, right? And I can remember just starting to dive heavy in this stuff, right? Like, boom, like this is new knowledge. And I can remember, I was married at the time, right? I can remember, exposing my wife to this stuff. Like, hey, you know what? Like there are other ways of thinking. Like we are creators. We are made in the image. This is what we're, I was going down that road. And instead of my spouse saying, you know what? Like, man, like this is interesting. Like fill me in. Like let's go down this path together, right? I would say certain things, man, and she would just be like, "Oh, you're the devil. You're the devil. Get out of, And I was like, man, like this is not good, right? This is hindering my growth, right? So over the years, man, as I kept, studying this stuff and evolving as a man and having newer thoughts, I began to create a new vision for myself. I began to create a new path, a new prayer, right? So I could see myself. I could see where I was going. I could see the place where I was going to reside, right? On all levels. And it came to a point, brothers, where I said, you know what? Like, this person that I'm with is now hindering me from getting there. Like it's hard. It's almost impossible for you to become one with the person that's not going the same direction as you. So it began to become a thing where, you know, the future version of myself, the version of myself that I was stepping into, walking in, it was a conflict. You know, so I had to terminate that, man. I had to terminate. I'll tell you this, brothers. If I would have stayed in that situation, there would be no immortal minds. There would be no soul immortal. It would have been impossible for me to evolve. So that's what I'm saying, brothers. Either a person is on the same page as you, or they're ruining a particular chapter of your life. You know what I'm saying? Either they're on the same page or they're ruining your chapter, brother. You know, I can even think about a relationship I was in, you know, later in life, you know, as much as an introvert as I am, right? As much to myself as I am, man. When I do go out, when I do party, bro, I go hard. I go all out, man, you know. But the thing is, there came a point in time, man, where I started to back up from that life, man. I started saying, you know what? Like, I want to start, reaching higher levels of enlightenment. You know, I want to reach certain levels of financial independence. You know, I want to be a better role model for my son. I want to do, I just saw a different version of myself. And I can remember the person that I was with then, we would talk about it, but once I started moving in that direction, it became a conflict. The person I was with was still saying, oh, well, I want to still go to every single day party. I'm still worried about what the world is doing. And look at social media this. Look at what everybody's doing. It was like, I said, this no longer represents who I am. I said, not only does it not represent it, I said, but now it's becoming a hindrance. Now it's becoming a crutch for me stepping into this newer version of myself, brothers. I'm telling you, either she's on the same page as you, brothers, or it's ruining the chapters in your life. And I'm telling you, there's only one way to avoid getting in that situation. There's only one way to avoid having a woman in your life that's now hindering your growth, right? And I'm gonna tell you what it is, brothers. The only way to get around this is to find a woman, is to connect with the woman, or to be in a relationship with a woman that thinks you hung the moon, brother. The woman in your life has to think you hung the moon. Matter of fact, and what I mean by that, she has to see you as the highest version of every type of man she likes. She has to think like you're the absolute bomb in life, right? She has to think you hung the moon, brothers. I have some friends, man, and I can easily call them friends even though I've never met them in person, right? And that's my friend Derek and Victoria, right? Met them on Instagram. And this is the thing, man. I go to Victoria's story sometimes on Instagram, and it's like every single day it seems. At least when I go on her chat, it's like every day she's cooking these meals, man. She's cooking these 5-7 course meals, and she's just chopping up vegetables and doing this. And at the end of the video, she always has her husband there, and she's like presenting him this plate, and he's like cutting up the food and tasting it and like giving his ultimate review, right? And this is like every single day, man. She treats this brother like pure royalty. And I'm saying, brothers, if you don't have that kind of relationship where your woman thinks you hung the moon, you know what I'm saying? Brother, I'm telling you, you have the wrong one. You have the wrong one, man. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if your woman doesn't think you hung the moon, it's just a matter of time before she becomes an anchor in your life. If she doesn't think you hung the moon, what I'm saying is it's just a matter of time before she becomes a permanent bookmark in the book of your life, right? She's just going to be a representation of a small fraction of your life instead of your entire growth. You know what I'm saying? She's going to be a representation of just a phase in your life. You know what I'm saying? So, brother, I'm telling you, she has to think you hung the moon. And I'll say again, the reason she has to be like this is because when a woman feels like this about you, then she has full trust in you. She has full confidence in your decision making. She has full belief and faith in you as a man. And to be honest, To be honest, I say that a man shouldn't want to entertain a woman that feels that likes him like that, loves him like that. But at the same time, a woman shouldn't even want to be with the man that she doesn't think hung the moon. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Going back to Derek and V, man, it's like the way she treats her husband. It's like she literally thinks that this brother, in the book of Genesis, both created and hung the freaking moon, man. I'm telling you, if you don't have that, brothers, you got the wrong one. Because at some point, she will become an anchor, man. Now, what I'm not saying is this, brothers. What I'm not saying is this, sisters. I'm not saying that a sister shouldn't have free mind and have her own identity and trust me, I'm not saying that. You have to understand, man, that my entire family, the women in my family, all of them are boss chicks. All of them are can move independently if they choose. I'm talking about going back, to my mom. My mom was a boss chick as far back as I can remember, as far as being able to move with her own power and authority, right? My sister is the same way. My nieces, they're all boss chicks. They're all independent women, right? But this is the thing. I'm not saying that a woman shouldn't have her own passions, that be having her degrees that she won't have all this stuff. But there's a difference between a woman that's an independent woman. I can move. I don't need a man type energy, because I can say easily the women in my life, man, that they have this ability to stand on their own. But when a solid man comes into their life, like if a man that knows who he is, a man that knows where he's going, a man that stands on these principles, a man that can't be shaken out of his prayer, then the women in my family can attach to these type of men, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that women shouldn't be able to think for themselves, but I'm saying that she doesn't think you hung the moon, brothers. But it's a matter of time, man, before you're in a situation where you're like, you know what? I feel like I'm stuck. Like I love this woman, man. Like this woman has always been there. But when I see the future version of myself, like it can't really, I can't really grab it. Like I can't really step into it because something is pulling me back. And it's that anchor. It's that anchor, man. That's why I always say, like when I got married at like 20 years old, 21 years old, man. In my mind, I'm thinking back. I'm like, bro, I was a child. In my mind, I'm like, bro, I didn't even know who I was. I hadn't even scratched the surface on knowing who I was. So it's very dangerous, man, for a brother to get into a relationship, especially like a marriage, if he hasn't laid his own foundation and say, you know what, this is where I'm going. This is who I am. This is where I'm going. Like that's so important, man. Like that's going to help you avoid, ending up with the bookmarks in your life, right? Because I'm telling you, man, it's a hard thing, bro. It's a very hard thing to be in a situation, and I mean relationship. It's a very hard thing to be in a relationship, to love a woman, to have built something with the woman. You might have built a little mini fortress. You might homes. You might have built something, and then it's time for you. It's time for you to write another chapter in your life, right? You see a higher version of yourself. But it's a hard decision to make, man. It's a hard decision to make, man, when you have to make a choice between your higher self or staying loyal to a situation. And I can tell you for myself, man, like that's pretty much the only deal breaker for me. And I'm not talking about, cheating and all that stuff is a whole nother something else. I don't entertain that. But what I'm saying is when it comes down to me not being able to elevate, brother, it's a no-brainer for me. Like, I don't even have to run that through the channels of my mind. It's like I'm instantly vetoing that situation, brothers. So I'm telling you, brothers, either she's on the same page as you or she's ruining your chapter.